I've had a lot of requests lately for a suggestion on how to handle the border for the boho granny square pattern I shared a few months ago. So in today's video, I'm going to share 2 suggestions that I think will work really well with this flat braid join. If you're unfamiliar with this pattern, I'll go ahead and add a link here in the description box below and at the end of the video. Option 1 is to create an effect of a scalloped edge by taking advantage of the edge that is already there. To get started, we're going to fasten on into any of these side chain spaces. Fasten on however you like best and create a single crochet. I like to do a standing crochet, so I just go in, pull the yarn through, and pull through. That's a standing single crochet. Otherwise, you can fasten on and chain 1. Now keep in mind you may need to alter the amount of single crochets depending on the tension and your yarn. I found that 4 single crochets worked really well for mine. So I'm going to continue on with 3 more, giving me a total of 4. Now to achieve that scallop effect, skip the single crochet and continue on into the next space with 4 single crochets. For these sections here where there's a join, I worked 2 single crochets, 1 single in that joining space. You can either go into the stitch or around it, and then 2 more on the other side. This will give you a slight scallop effect. And then just continue on with the same sequence all the way around, remembering to skip the single crochet and then work 4 singles into the chain spaces. For the corners, I do like to work with odd numbers. For my yarn and hook size, I found 5 single crochets worked really well. If it's working too loosely for you, I would drop it down to 3, and if it's working too tight, then I would go up to 7. Skipping that single crochet, continue on with the same sequence. Again, for the join areas, 2 single crochets, 1 single in that join, 2 single crochets on the other side. And then for the second option, we're going to focus more on creating a foundation border. For the second option, we're going to be working with single crochets again, but this time we're going to achieve more of a solid look, which can serve as your border or as a foundation to build a more elaborate one. So to begin, fasten on to any single crochet on the side. Creating a single crochet or a slip stitch with a chain 1. Now instead of wrapping the single crochets around the chain, this time we're going to work into the granny square below. We're going to add 3 single crochets. Those are going into the top doubles for that cluster. And then again, we're going to add a single crochet into that single next to it. We're just going to continue this all the way around, adding singles to the top of those clusters and singles into the top of those previous singles. For this section here, I wanted to pull things together, so I'm going to do 1 single crochet and then do 2 together, combining these 2 sides, and then another single crochet, essentially giving us 3 singles. So 1 single crochet on the first side, and now we're going to do 2 together. Go into the same space, pull your yarn through, move over to the other side, pull your yarn through, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Let's add another single into the same space, and we're done. Now if you find that's too tight, by all means add an extra single crochet or 2. And then again, continue on with your singles into the top of those previous doubles from the granny cluster. When you reach the corner, again, I suggest odd numbers, 3, 5, or 7. I went with 5, so I'm going to do a single crochet into that first single. I'm going to do 3 in this corner spot, but instead of wrapping around the chain, I'm going to drop down to this corner space from the previous square. 3 singles. And then a single in that next little single space. If you want to move it up to 7, then I would just play around with that, maybe adding 2 in those single crochet spaces, and then the 3 is still in the center there. And then just continue on with the sequence. Again, to do those joining areas, 1 single crochet on the first side, 2 together, pull through one side, going into the next, pull through from the other side, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and then 1 more single crochet in the other side. I know I sound like a broken record, but again, keep an eye on your tension with this. This is just a guide. Add or remove single crochets to get that sweet spot for your yarn and your hook size. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.